Welcome back to Practicing Photography. My name is Doug Gabbard. Welcome to my journey to getting better with practice by taking one photo at a time. Hey, if you stick with me through this video, I've got a bonus tip for you at the end on some night photography ideas. So stay with me so you see it. And check out my new background. This is a mural in my basement that I have been not using for my background, so maybe this is where I'll go with my future shots. So I've had a few videos prior to this one on how to do fireworks, 4 and then a summary. And last week I did not give you a review of my shots that I took. Life happens and some things kept me from getting to it. So here I am this week. So I had 2 opportunities to take some firework shots. One in my neighboring town in Aurora and one in my hometown that I live in currently is Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So the first location was in Aurora, Indiana. The first 2 photos, well, before I even show you the photos, let me give you some goals of what I went after. It was just me and a photographer friend, and I wanted to do foreground in my fireworks. That was my #1 goal. But I also wanted to do some of my intentional camera movement, erratic camera movement, and zooming that I had talked about in my previous videos. So that was my goal. So you're going to see all of those in this set with the Aurora photo shoot. So the first 2 photos are intentional camera, where I've got my camera on a tripod and I pan. When I'm getting the fireworks, I'm panning. And I got some pretty cool shots. The first 2, I kind of look like space ships flying through space with some photon torpedoes flying from left to right. So check out those 2 photos. The third photo is with a zoom, not a big zoom. I was just using 24 to 70 millimeter lens, and that 24 to 70 millimeter gave me, it looks like a first-person shooter where I'm chasing a ship and shooting at it. A little bit of imagination there, but that's kind of what I got out of it. My next photo was kind of an accident. I was still doing a little bit of movement, not a lot. If you look at the base of the photo, you'll see some light movement that it looks like I had some motion at the house with a firework blowing up high. But that kind of gives me a foreground. It gives a little perspective of what was going on in the environment. So I kind of like that one. The next two photos are shot through a gap in the tree. And the first one, you can see some light from the firework lighting up the tree, so that's pretty cool. It was a little bit brighter firework. The second one wasn't as bright, or I didn't have as long a shutter speed. I've got the shutter speed on each of these photos if you haven't noticed yet below. So the second one shooting through the trees looks like a silhouette with the firework in the background. I really like that one. Moving on to the next picture, still at the Aurora fireworks. So the first 2 pictures you saw so far was on intentional camera movement. The second one was zooming. The third one or fourth one was some foreground, and the 5th and 6th was also some foreground shooting through the trees. The 7th and 8th one that are coming up next are photos with erratic camera movement. I was just moving them up and down in different directions, but the 2 I picked out of it. The first one kind of reminds me of maybe a bad hair day. When you first wake up, if you have long hair, not my problem, huh? So the second one kind of looks more like maybe a jellyfish or something. The last picture in my Aurora series was my favorite one. It was a very long exposure. I think it was 25 seconds. It's on the photo, you'll see that. And I was hoping to get 2 or 3 photos, or 2 or 3 fireworks in the photo, and I got 3. But also the football field was lit up for a nephew that had passed away. He's 14-year-old. So they lit up the stadium in remembrance for him. So that was in the background at first. I thought it would be distracting, but I kind of like it there now. So if you're liking some of these photos, or if you got ideas for other things for me to try, make sure you give me a suggestion in the comments below. So let's go to the second series. The second series is a different location. The first one was all in Aurora, Indiana. The second one is in Lawrenceburg, my hometown. And this one, I was going with my family, and they really didn't want me to be messing with my camera a whole lot. So I took a different approach. I took my camera, put it on a tripod, and I had a adapter hooked up to my camera that took pictures every 5 seconds with a 5-second exposure. And just let it go. Just let it go. Sat there with my family, enjoyed the fireworks. Fireworks is over, wrapped up the camera and shut it off, and went home. So when you look at these, the first 4 photos that you're going to see here, one with the fireworks launching out, that's kind of a cool picture, I like that one. Next one is just a nice bright white light. The third one, it looks like rockets firing up. And the fourth one is just like a starburst, 4 little starburst explosions. Very little photo editing on those 4 photos. The last 2, I tried a lot more. So my goal with this shoot was, in the second shoot, if you haven't figured it out, was spend time with my family, number 1. And number 2, get some photos to maybe do some photo editing later. So the first 4 from that photo shoot that I just shared with you, very little editing. The last 2, however, did a lot of editing. The first one I stacked about 10 photos, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I stacked a bunch of the photos just right on top of each other and brought fireworks through each one. So it gets very busy, it almost looks overblown. But I liked it. I had some good feedback on Facebook from some of my friends. And then the final photo, you'll see it has a lot of fireworks all through the sky. The fireworks weren't any higher than the first 4 that you see, maybe a little higher, but not much. And what I did is I used Photoshop again. I stacked a lot of photos and only pulled the fireworks out of some of them and placed them throughout the sky to give me that final picture that you see there. So before we finish here, I'd like to go back to what I said at the beginning of the video, is that I got something special for you to look for. If you look at links down below, I have a link to my blog post where I talk about how to do a photo shoot of maybe a monument and people are walking around during the day. You really want to get a picture of the monument without all the tourists around. There's a way to do that. You'll need an ND filter and a long exposure with a tripod. But check out my blog post. I'll give you the details and a picture of a sample case from Indiana University that I did doing that very technique. It was, I think, a 30-second exposure with an ND filter of set to 10. And there were people walking around, but you cannot see them in the photo. It's pretty awesome. So if you like my video, hit that subscribe button and the like button. It helps my ego. Yeah. Well, actually it does. It makes me feel good if you hit the like and subscribe, obviously. It also lets me know that people are actually out there watching my videos and that I should keep doing these. Hope to see you again. Remember, this is Practicing Photography with Doug Gabbard, with my journey to get better with practice, taking 1 photo at a time. You have a great day.